Hello and welcome to this video. Today we're going to be reviewing the FiFine K688 microphone. It is a dynamic podcast microphone. It features USB-C and XLR connections. This video was brought to you by FiFine, but the thoughts and opinions in it are my own. I'm currently running this through XLR into my Canon C200, and this is how it sounds. Let's start with the unboxing experience. In the box, you get the microphone that is attached to its shock mount. You also get a microphone stand adapter to make it so it fits on any type of arm. And you also get the USB-C to USB-A cable. You get a quick start guide, and that is all. You don't get any stands with this particular one, like you do with pretty much all of FiFine's other microphones. Not a deal breaker because you're going to be putting it onto like a PSA 1 or a Elgato arm or some type of boom arm. Now, let's move on to build quality and design. Speaking of the boom arm, if you remember in my A8 review, I talked about how it was too light because it was made out of plastic to actually support the weight of the microphone. This issue still exists with this one. I've noticed it's not as bad. I can get it into position, but I have to tweak it and do little things because it'll move up slightly, and it's a pain. So that is my biggest downfall of this microphone so far. Other than that, it seems like it's metal. The ports seem sturdy. The dials feel nice. The cable doesn't feel loose. You get a really long cable as well, so that's really good. Another drawback is the foam cover that comes with it. It doesn't really match because it's kind of grey. Not a big deal, but it is really, really thin. So the top of it where you actually talk into, is really thin. So if I talk right directly into it, podcast microphone, it will have hurt your ears because of the plosives in the air. It's not. I don't know if you'll be able to see it on camera. My iPhone 14 Pro Max, you can see it. It's very, very thin. It's not. It ain't doing much. Whereas the sides are a little bit thicker, but you don't talk into the side of it. You talk into the top of it. Again, not a massive deal because you can get either an additional pop filter, or you could also buy a different foam thing. Another thing with the foam thing is that if you have it at a certain angle, it will just fall off. Moving on to the features. So it features a tap to mute button, which is pretty cool. It has a headphone jack, so you can use it as basically like a sound card for your computer. So you can have all your sounds route through it. You can also hear yourself talk, which is kind of cool. However, it is very quiet. So when you're listening to yourself with headphones on, it's really quiet to hear yourself. The music or whatever, for example, the sound from the computer is loud enough, perfectly fine, but you're really quiet. So then you feel like you've got to be right on top of it. But then when you're right on top of it, it's too much. You need to be at about this sort of distance, which is about that far away. How far I am from it, and hopefully it sounds good. So the headphone feature and the tap to mute and all the monitoring features are only available if you use the Type-C cable. These features are not available if you use the XLR cable. Again, not a massive deal, but just something that's worth mentioning. So now we'll move on to the sound test. So you've been listening to it all the way through, recorded through XLR into the Canon C200 using the normal preamps. There's plenty of sound going on. This room is very echoey. There's nothing in it hardly, so that's why it's quite echoey. But from what I've done, from the tests I've done, it sounds okay. Test where it's just the raw audio connect via the USB-C. Okay, so I'm now sat here doing the sound test. I've literally plugged it in, changed the settings and made sure it's a thing. I'm also I've got it set so it's at a slight angle, so when I say hello and welcome back to the Mind of Ben podcast, the air from the plosives podcast aren't hitting it directly necessarily. Whereas if I was to talk into it like this, hello and welcome back to the Mind of Ben podcast. Okay, it's not too bad to be fair, because I've got the level set correctly for a change. Another thing to note as well is when I was using the USB-C, I had to use an A to C adapter because it's a USB-C to A cable, which I don't understand why they're still making USB-A. It's probably for people that use Windows because they're scum and they've got normal USB ports, whereas the world is moving to Type-C. Just look at the EU and their new laws. So, would I recommend this microphone? I would recommend this microphone if you were starting out and you were going to put it on a normal desk stand. If you've got £90 to spend on a microphone, yes. If you've already got equipment, like a mixing desk or like a thing, then yeah. And it also depends on what other equipment you've got. If you've already got a microphone, maybe not. If this is your first microphone and you've got £90 to spend, then yeah, it's a decent entry-level microphone for what you're paying. It depends on what you need. If you need XLR, then yes, best option that you can get from FiFine. If you don't need XLR, then I would probably steer you towards the A8, but that is from my sheer experience. If you're going to be putting it on a desk stand like this, then yes, I would recommend this microphone. If you're going to be putting it on a boom arm, like a PSA one, probably not. So yes, I'll leave a link down in the description as to where you can find this on Amazon. Yeah, if you did enjoy this video, be sure to let me know by leaving a like on it. If you want to see more from me, be sure to subscribe. So yes, I'm Ben, and I will see you in the next video.